and we're back with another episode of Franchise My Business, the podcast for franchisors, hosted by franchisors. I'm your host, Kevin Oldham, and today's topic is a solo topic that I am calling the accidental franchisor. What does that mean? An accidental franchisor is somebody who built an amazing business and then one day decided to franchise, but they did not have franchising as part of their original business model. And there's two very distinct things, ways that people franchise. I mean, either you're building the organization with franchising as an expansion model, and you know that from the formative stages, or you kind of accidentally fall into it. You grow the business, and then all of a sudden you look up and you make this decision to franchise as your expansion strategy. And I want to focus on the accidental franchisor because there's a lot of things that anybody listening, if you're building a business, that you can create now that will be a net positive for you in the future, whether or not you decide to franchise. But if you become an accidental franchisor, it's going to help you get there quicker. So let's talk about some of those things. So a franchise, at its core is a system, and their documented processes and brand and all of those things that you're able to share with somebody else. So let's take that a step back. Let's say I always love using the bakery as an example. So let's say you're running an amazing bakery and you have one location. Awesome. But you have expansion in mind. You don't know if you're going to go to another company-owned location. Maybe you open up another location, or maybe you look at franchising your business model. No matter what you do, you're going to have documented processes. Probably makes sense to have a playbook on how to run the business, documentation of all your recipes. If you go to a second location, you're going to have to deal with sharing knowledge between your locations. So there's all of these processes that need to be documented in order to transfer that knowledge to another location, to other employees, so that it's not all in the founder's head. And so one of the things that somebody who is running a business, whether you're thinking about franchising or not, you can document your processes. And when you document your processes, you're going to create time for yourself as the founder. You're going to create less ambiguity for your team members. And you're going to be in a position where you have the ability to expand. And if you do become a franchisor accidentally, a lot of that legwork is already going to be completed. Okay. And what we're talking about when it comes to processes, let's use the bakery as an example. It could be opening and closing processes, hiring processes, firing processes, cleaning processes, how to reconcile at the end of the day financially, like all of these things, how to count inventory, ingredients, all of those things are things that are part of a business system. And so that whether or not you decide to franchise, you still have that great work product done, and it's done until that process changes. I just went through an exercise at our digital marketing company, DeFactory, that was basically 6 to 9 months. Let's just say it was a total 9-month process, documentation, review, and then training exercise throughout our entire organization. And I can tell you that it was painful. We've been in business for 8.5 years. Like to kind of pause things and slow down and document was painful. But now we have a race car. Like we have processes and all these things that make us a very, very fine-tuned race car. And the business isn't as dependent on things that may be in Kevin's head as the founder of the company. So it's a very freeing exercise to get everything documented. And furthermore, if you ever become an accidental franchisor, you're going to be so thankful that work product is done, because it's going to be something you don't have to circle back and do. So if you think about business, document your processes, make it so that those processes are not dependent upon the founder. And then if you ever get to that point where you find yourself making that decision to expand via franchising, you will have saved yourself a ton of time and a ton of work. Ladies and gentlemen, If you enjoy what we're doing at Franchise My Business, or maybe you found benefit in this show, this particular episode, I'd love it if you shared this episode with one friend. And then my other ask is just that you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, I'm your host, Kevin Oldham, and I hope that you have a phenomenal week.